The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rizacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price. Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning, Stuart, Florida, Treasure Coast, South Florida, and the whole United States, since we are streaming live on WSTU.com. My name is Dr. Tred Rizacker, and I am your happy host for the next 1 hour here on my Slim Body Laser Spa's Health and Wellness Extravaganza. Yes, I am using an FDA-cleared low-level lipo laser to accelerate weight loss, fat reduction, tighten chins, get rid of those bellies, mommy bellies, in only 9 sessions in 3 weeks. Shockingly effective. It's been proven by myself over 10 years at the Slim Body Laser Spa right here in lovely downtown, well, not downtown, but right here in Stuart, Florida, across the street from the Fresh Market on East Ocean Boulevard. And COVID did not take us down. We are growing. We're actually a monopoly now. I saw 2 other weight loss centers have gone out of business. Spas are closing, but the Slim Body is growing and excelling because we have staying power. We have results, and we have over 5,000 people right here on the Treasure Coast that have been through the process, have lost inches, lost weight, and continue to utilize our services even through the lockdown. That's pretty powerful. And if you've been sitting around struggling with fat, maybe you got type 2 diabetes, maybe you just turned 50. Oh my God, that's what happened to me. And you realize that you need help, that the fat's not going away, that the same amount of exercise and energy you used to put in doesn't seem to be cutting it. Maybe you're somebody who likes to drink alcohol, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's sane, common sense drinking, but it's putting extra inches on you. We can help with that. You can still drink alcohol and get results at the Slim Body Laser Spa because it's an outside laser. It's a surface. It takes care of the surface fat. A lot of our clients choose our spa because as a result of the complete treatment program, they end up getting an alumni discount. Its pricing is guaranteed as long as we're in business. So after the 9-session and 3-week laser plan, you can then be qualified for an alumni plan. And that's a huge discount. A lot of our clients are people that will utilize other beauty services like plastic surgery, liposuction procedures, tummy tucks, facelifts, cool sculpting, cavi lipo, injectables, Botox, Juvederm. These are clients and people who are concerned with how they look. Yet at the Slim Body Laser Spa, you don't have to leave any body parts in exchange for your look. A lot of people out there are suffering with medical conditions as a result of excessive weight gain. Okay? Things like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, painful joints, arthritic joints. Maybe you're suffering with neuropathy in your hands or feet. The weight has caused overall fatigue, low energy, difficulty sleeping, difficulty breathing, can't exercise or move around. You know, these are clients who look to Slim Body for help. Many of our clients are taking meds and they want to stop taking meds, but need a program or help becoming healthier so they can possibly get off of their meds. Try going to the Cleveland Clinic and telling them that you'd like to get off your meds. And what solutions do they have? I had a client come in who was not a great client for me. He had a little too much weight and really needed his insurance to cover it. And he was in trouble physically with diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease. So I made 2 phone calls. I called, at the time it was Martin Health Systems, and I called St. Lucie Medical Center for him and tried to get him into a program that would help him with his weight. The only programs they had were bariatric surgical programs. In other words, if they couldn't do the surgery, they didn't offer him help. Now, that's a shame. That's something that we help people with. You know, we're before that. We're the one who does the tune-up before you replace the whole motor. A lot of our clients, people that would come into Slim Body, are people that are just unhappy with how they look. You know, they're being overweight for some time. Their stomach's hanging out over their pant, shelf. They hide their arms. They're unhappy with their arms, so they never wear any sleeveless shirts anymore. A lot of people are wearing untucking shirts. You know, that's common. Hey, the cool the Miami Vice look, but you're really wearing that untucked shirt to hide that tummy hanging over. So, this is people who can come in 3 weeks, 9 sessions, 3 weeks, and start to reduce and result and to get rid of that. And it's really affordable. It's a gift. There's a lot of you out there that are in a midlife crisis. It's either something changed in your life, maybe a relationship left, a new relationship came in, maybe somebody passed away, God forbid, and or you just find that you realize that it's important to be attractive for your mate, even though you've been married for 20 or 30 years. That's something that I think Asian culture realizes. If you look at Asian women as spouses, they're very concerned with their looks, more so than it seems to be Americans, because, they know that you're not guaranteed because you have a contract with being married. If you're from Asia, there's no alimony. There's no child support. There's very little support when somebody loses a husband, and they're much more aggressive at staying fit and looking good and wearing, looking like that person that got married. In America, we seem to fall away from that. And I don't mean putting on makeup. I mean just being conscious of your weight and your health. And you probably have a much better, if that's something that you need, you're in that midlife crisis and you're looking for a little extra spice in your relationship with your husband or your wife, try losing some weight. Try getting fit again. See how your hormones come back. The desire to be sexual becomes heightened when you feel better and look better. You can save a lot of relationships that way. Maybe a lot of you out there that come into the Slim Body are looking just to tighten and tone, and they want their skin to be tighter. A lot of you after weight loss or after a surgical bariatric procedure, you're left with a lot of loose skin. In fact, the statistic is pretty shocking. 40% of anybody that goes in for bariatric surgery or has gained more than 40 or 50 pounds and lost the weight, if you're over 50, the statistic is you're going to need skin tightening procedures. It doesn't just snap back, people. When you're 20, it does. Maybe 30, early 40s. You get into 50 and 60, and that skin, that valuable, wonderful wrap that keeps all of our fluids inside and prevents all the things from coming into us, becomes sagging. And it starts to hang, and it's usually because you had to wait for too long. We can help you there safely. Not everybody, but enough that it's worth coming in and finding out. Maybe there's a lot of you out there that have realized through pain, suffering, exercise, hard exercise works, triathlons, cycling. Maybe you figured out through a Zumba class that you've been practicing yoga. You've been on the keto diet for the last 3 months. And you know what? You can't change the outer fat. In other words, you're healthier. You're more flexible. It's a good thing, but I really wanted to get rid of this flap, this tire around my midsection. Or I'm trying to tone my thighs, the inner thigh. I hate the way it looks when my thighs look like they're rippling, and I can feel them rubbing together when I walk. Okay, that is something that only an outside procedure can accomplish. And of the procedures out there, which I'm going to go over today, this low-level laser is the safest and the best. And it's not just coming because I'm the provider of it. It's coming because I've seen, I've studied, and I fix everybody else's problems. When lipo goes bad, when cool sculpting goes bad, when EM sculpt or whatever these new procedures don't get the result they want, or they sometimes damage tissue with hard lumps and bumps, they come into Slim Body to see if I can repair it. It's been the story of a chiropractor's life, right? Nobody goes to a chiropractor first. They go after surgery failed and after they're not getting better with therapy and pills, and they oh God, I guess I'll go to the chiropractor. Have to go all the time. It happens in the body sculpting industry also. I'm well used to that. I'm okay. Come to me last if you have to. Better to come first, but if you have to, come to me last. So if you've been hurt, if you had a procedure, you're unhappy with it, you felt like you got taken advantage of, maybe you were too heavy for the process and they didn't tell you that. Maybe, you realize that you have to keep going back again, or maybe they didn't help you with your food. Maybe they didn't help you with the initial reason why you put on those extra inches. At the Slim Body, I do a complete nutritional evaluation consultation along with the process. If you pass the nutritional consultation and evaluation, and I think that you're a good candidate, that's when I will accept you. I don't accept you because you just want to lose inches and you want to pay. Then we'd have a lot of very unhappy people, because it's my responsibility as the provider to make sure that you're a good candidate, because you don't know if you're a good candidate. You don't know what I do or how it works, as a provider, a doctor, licensed healthcare practitioner with malpractice and a license and a reputation, I do not want you to be unhappy no matter what. I won't trade out money for your happiness. It's just not going to happen. Which is why, going on our 11th year, 5,000 to 6,000 people have come in. We're still there. I see Quick Weight Loss went out of business. I see the numbers are down at a lot of these other fitness centers. The Physicians Weight Loss, this HCG injection, I see them advertising, but I don't see anybody going there. We're strong on East Ocean Boulevard. Some of the other people that will come in is the dreaded hormonal changes. They call it menopause. In men, they call it andropause. And these are when your sex hormones go out of whack. It can be from aging. It can be from natural decreasing as you get older, but it could also be from a stressful situation. It can be from bad diet, not exercising. It could be an exposure to toxins such as mold that can leave you depleted in your happy hormones, your sex hormones. And when you got messed up estrogen and progesterone, or you got low testosterone as a male, if you're suffering with a chronic immune disorder, if you've had a history of steroids for inflammation, people with COPD who cannot exercise, people with neurological issues like Parkinson's, MS, these people are in trouble when it comes to losing stubborn fat. It just keeps coming on because the system is out of whack. The metabolism has been damaged. And they have to be so careful what they eat. And what would not make someone else fat puts weight on them every time they eat it. And as it accumulates, it collects on the outside, on the subcutaneous. This low-level laser procedure that I have, when you apply it to the outside fat, it doesn't care how you put it on, whether you have a metabolic situation or not. It doesn't care. It's a laser. It works on everybody when you put it on. Now, some get more results than others, but the results that you get each time you come in and do the 30-minute process is enough for 95% of the people who sign up to feel that it was worth it, and they would tell other people. And we do these studies all the time. When you come into the spa, you'll see over 350 8x10 signed, framed testimonials from our clients. I didn't pay them for those. They did it willingly because they want people to know that this worked. But you got to pick up the phone to make that decision. We're here. We're down right on East Ocean Boulevard. So don't blame the few drinks you have, the couple beers you have on the weekends, the fact that you like wine. Don't blame that. Or, you think you have a gluten sensitivity. That's probably, these things are true. They do create these weight gains and these outside fat accumulation. But again, the laser doesn't care if you're black, white, skinny, Republican, Democrat. It doesn't care if you believe in it. You don't have to have any knowledge of how it works. You just got to come in, be screened by me, go over, the history. And if you're a good candidate or a candidate, I'll tell you the truth, how long it will take, how much it will cost. Very, very worth it. Now, there's a lot of people that believe their weight gain is due to the stress they're under, such as high cortisol and not getting enough sleep. And that is definitely an issue. And no, I can't knock you out and give you a sleeping pill, but I can help, with you changing your, cleaning up your diet helps a lot with stress. Getting on a supplementation regimen, vitamins, minerals, support. When you're under stress, your vitamin C, your B vitamins become depleted. Your body is struggling for, it's in a fight or flight response. Your adrenaline is racing because you're stressed. Adrenaline is the hormone which makes you fight. It gives you boosts of energy. But since you're not fighting, because we're not cavemen anymore, we're sitting around holding on to our resentments as we walk past the source of our resentment. We end up developing just this generalized, anger, this resentment, this feeling of I don't fit in, I'm not connected, and when is this going to end? Why did this happen to me? These persistent emotional feelings change your body's chemistry to create high cortisol. Cortisol is one of the master hormones that the body produces in response to stress. And cortisol raises your heart rate. It causes blood sugar to be heightened. It dumps glucose into the bloodstream. It shuts off the digestive system. It affects your hearing. It affects your cognitive ability to deal with complicated problems. You don't have to solve algebraic equations when you're running from the tiger. You're really concerned with time, how long it is to get away from them, and your body. So people that are under chronic stress, they worry about, I don't have enough time. I'm always out of time. There's not enough time in the day to do the things I need to do. That's a sign of stress. The other one is, I'm really concerned with how I look, my hair, my nails. I'm very concerned about my body. And is it sick? Is this symptom a cancer? I have to get my colonoscopy. I'm 25 years old and I'm already getting mammograms and these are signs that you're concerned about your body. And that is the stress response internalized within a human. Remember, when you're running from the tiger, from the watering hole, you're concerned with how can I get away, the time to get away, and you're concerned with your body. And now in this, evolved situation we're in, we're now our stress is, do I have enough time to save money? Do I have enough time to pay all my bills? Do I have enough time to survive this COVID lockdown? I'm running out of time. And the other one is what about my body? I'm concerned with all these aches and pains and get where I'm getting with this. Over time, stress leads to fat accumulation. And when you come to the spa and we do a history and we do an exam, and we look at your neurologic, your nutritional profile, it's pretty easy to identify the foods that are not healthy, the foods which are supporting the stress response, because they're usually sugars and starches. These people are hooked on carbohydrates. They're drinking diet soda because they think they're not going to get fat. And boy, is that a mistake. They're putting in artificial sweeteners in everything. They're called excitotoxins, and they cause you to be more anxious and actually create sickness within your body, artificial sweeteners. And, it's amazing how much this affects your weight gains. So a lot of you out there that will come into the spa tell me that I'm getting weight. My weight is coming from eating the wrong foods or too much food. Now, I would tell you that was probably the most honest thing that I hear at the spa. I'm eating the wrong foods and I just eat too much. Okay? Now, here's an interesting thing about this phenomena. When somebody comes to realize they're eating the wrong foods or too much, usually they will solve the problem with exercise and diet. Okay? Right? And however, when you think your problem is coming from something else, like slow metabolism, stress, alcohol, these other things, you're less likely to exercise and diet to change it. Now, exercise and diet definitely is less expensive than laser body sculpting, and there's no doubt about it. However, the time that you'll spend with diet and exercise, the time factor, how long it takes to get results, is more valuable if you can get the results in less time than, let's say, if it takes a year. Because a lot of you, once you get the result, you stop exercising and dieting. And it's the truth. Out of the 100 people that decide they're going to diet and exercise because they don't like how they look, or they want to get rid of the body fat, only 10% will actually, well, I think it's a little higher. The statistic is close to 40% will actually achieve some results. But in 2 years, 95% have lost those results and has come back again. In other words, they don't stick with it. So one of the issues that come with losing weight and then it's keeping weight off that's so difficult is I have found that you need to stay connected to a source, a fountain of information, of motivation, a fountain of truth. So a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, if you fall off your path, you fall down, you can get up because you have a connection to that source. And that's what we offer at the Slim Body Laser Spa. This is a family. You're an alumni. Once you graduate with a laser spa, you become an alumni, and you can always come back, reconnect, re-identify, revive, re-energize what you found when you first came in. It's kind of like coming home, and it's a wonderfully safe, sure feeling. And you know what? It costs 66% less because you're an alumni. What a gift. All right. Now, what are some of the people who will benefit from the spa? And I'm going to give you a descriptive term, how subcutaneous fat. Now, understand that my machine only targets the outer fat, subcutaneous fat. It does not go in past the muscle and make you skinny. All right. So people that have stubborn subcutaneous fat, they have these little pet names that they call it, because it's not, if you were just grossly overweight, you would say, I'm obese. This is my obese belly. But they don't say that. What they say is, they say it's a belly fat, or it's a muffin top, or I have bra bulges. I have a double chin. When I hold my arms up, they're my bat wings. They say these are my wings. They flop in the wind. Around my hips and pelvis, I call them saddlebags. There's also something they call banana rolls, which is under the buttock in front of the thigh. Or I have thunder thighs, cankles. When someone uses descriptive terms about their body, it's usually something which bothers them quite a bit. So they choose to identify with a funny name or a term which doesn't really show what it is that's really going on. And what it really means to me is that they've done a lot of reading and research, and they've identified and talked to a lot of people about this condition. And this is why they describe it in these terms. And these people that have these pet names, if you're a spouse or you're a caretaker and somebody keeps talking about their banana rolls or their bat wings, we can help you with those areas, and those people don't even know it. They become, well, once you have something for a year, it's not a problem anymore. So our best client is someone who has tried to body sculpt, to lose weight with exercise and diet alone. They've tried very rigid diets to shape and contour. They've been to the yoga class. They've taken the P40 DVD. What is it? The XP40. Right? And they want to change their outer fat, sculpt, or spot reduce without any help from outside. That they still believe, as they did when they were younger, when they were a swimmer, or when they played, volleyball in their 60s, that they can rely on those old techniques. And I want you to know that these clients are the most perplexed and frustrated that I have ever seen. They're looking on the internet. They're looking in magazines. They're buying special clothing to try to change their contouring, since diet and exercise, no matter how hard they try, cannot change or affect their shape anymore. It amazes me when they come into the spa and I sit down with somebody who is in their 50s, 60s, and they tell me how fit they were when they were younger, how they ran track, how they were swimmers, collegiate swimmers. Some people, men, played, soccer, rugby, and now they're sitting at my desk behind my counter there looking for help, and they still think that they don't realize how out of shape they are. I did 2 body fat percentages last week. One was a female who was 52, and she was a swimmer up until her, late 20s, super fit. And when she came in, she was concerned about her legs or in her thighs. her saddlebags and in front of her tummy. And when I said, listen, I need to check your body fat percentage. She goes, oh, well, I'm sure it's not that high. I said, I don't know. It's hard to tell. You can't look at yourself and know how high it is. When I put her on the body fat analysis machine, which is a electrical current that you put on their feet and on their hand, and it takes 30 seconds to pass this mild current through. And what it does is it measures the amount of body fat percentage you have. It tells you how much of your body is fat and how much of your body is muscle. And it gives you a ratio. Healthy ratio, 20 to 80. 20% fat, 80% muscle. When I did her body fat percentage, it was 44%. Think about that. 50% would be half of her body mass. She was 44% adipose tissue, fat. Had no idea. And all she kept saying was, but I was so fit when I was young. I don't see how this could happen. I haven't changed my diet that much. on and on and on. And I thought to myself, she's in raging denial. It's not the river of Egypt either. This is true denial. You see the result here. And, and then the next week, the energy came down and she said, that's why I'm here. I need help. I knew something was wrong, but I had no idea it was that bad. So had another guy come in, a man, 64, likes to party guy. Nothing wrong with that. He's out having fun. He's riding his Harleys around. He's out of a relationship. He wants to get back into dating again. He was a civil engineer and has a great pension, and wanted to get rid of his belly. That was his main concern. And when I went over it, he thought that he was grossly obese. If you had asked him, how much body fat are you carrying? It was like, oh my God, it's like 35, 40%. My God, look at this big belly I have. It was full of, he just was down in the dumps over it. I put him on the BMI. His body fat was like 28%, which is not even obese. And he looks at me and he puts his hands on his belly. He goes, oh, well, what is this? And I said, sir, it's bad nutrition. We call it a liver presentation. Your liver is working hard to detoxify because you're the party guy. I didn't say it that way. And, and what happens is that ball that you think is all fat is really just bad nutrition, and it's visceral fat. And my friend, I can get the stuff off the outside, work on the love handles, work on the stuff you can squeeze kind of hanging down by your belt. But that ball, that tight ball, that's nutrition. And that means cutting out the sugars, cutting out the carbohydrates, doing some exercise, burning energy. You got to burn those calories out almost like heat from inside. You got to burn it off. I put them on a detox supplement, which is very safe. It's a herbal supplement, and we got them on the Master Cleanse, which is a lemon juice, squeeze fresh lemons in a 1 quart container, 10 lemons squeezed, half as much maple syrup for calories, and then fill it up with spring water. And then you drink that 8 in the morning, 9, 10, mix another one, 11, 12, 1, 2. You drink it for the day, and then you have a normal dinner at night. And that will help kickstart and shrinking that big gut, that ball. Now, please, if you're listening to this, don't run out and do it until you check with your doctor. Common sense, that ball might be something else. And citrus, lemons, grapefruit can affect medications you're on. And so if you're on some medication that's life changing that you have to keep your life, to keep your heart working or something else, you need to check with your doctor before you do any kind of detox. But for him, he didn't have any of those issues yet. He was on something for his heart rhythm. He'd had a bypass when he was in his 50s. But that's what the BMI showed. He thought he was just overly weight, and he blamed it on, and it wasn't it. It was really his habits of heavy sugar intake, and that would be through the form of alcohol and also other sugar products. In other words, if you went to the I don't want to say, if you went to the fat freezing place, or you went to the place that just does the outside fat, they're not going to help you with those issues. And these people need help. And the reason why we are so successful at the Slim Body Laser Spa is I sit down with a pragmatic approach. A pragmatic approach means I look at it, I look at their situation, and I make a recommendation that I think is going to solve the problem, regardless of my ideological beliefs. Okay? That's the way it should be. It doesn't matter that I judge him for being someone that drinks alcohol too much, or, that he's not managing his weight, or, or he had 5 wives and 6 kids that he hasn't seen. It's not my problem. I don't judge people that way. I look at what their problem is. I look at their history, and I try to make suggestions and recommendations based on what I know could benefit them based on their own, where they are in their lives. So you don't get a lot of that anymore. It's called being a doctor. And when you have the laser as a tool, like I do, when you have 4 of these laser machines, you got, a staff to help apply it. And once a person gets in and they lose these inches, and then they become more compliant with eating, they want to take better care of their health. And then, then they're off to the races of in the right direction. I mean, people can have life-changing experiences in one moment. Bang, new man. You can become a new man in one fleeting idea. We are able to change. That is the wonderful, beautiful part about being a human, is we can change. I want you to know the robins and the birds and the lesser the lesser forms, they can't change. They found in Mesopotamia, which is the earliest finding of civilization we know of, they found robin's nests. Of the red robin's nest was built identical in Mesopotamia as they are today. The same. They knew it was a red robin's nest, and it was a gazillion years ago. And they can't change. Alligators are going to do the same thing that they did when they used to swim with the dinosaurs. They do not change. They can't have I'm going to become a vegetarian today. Yep, that's it. I'm tired of eating all this meat and grabbing animals and sticking them under logs and coming back and eating them when they're rotten. I'm going to go for vegetarian. I can't do it. You have the ability to change. Some people call it the turning point. Some people call it the Rubicon. We all know people that have been there. And, I study and I'm an expert on why people change, what it takes for people to change, because that is what I do. I either use it's either an intervention with something natural away from something more dangerous like medicine. You need to look at, how's it working for you? Or are these drugs and injections and opiates you're taking, is this serving your needs, or are you getting sicker from it? And when they realize that there's a problem, you better have a solution ready to go, which is effective. Because if you don't, why give up the other one? And that's one of the beautiful parts about a chiropractic process, is it's really effective, and it can be a substitute for those people that are hooked on drugs and pills and need unneeded medicines. Well, when you come into the laser spa, Slim Body, and you're addicted to food and refined carbohydrates, and you're drinking and eating to feel better, not just for sustenance, just for energy, you are hooked. You are in a bad spot. So when somebody goes over this with you and shows you what's happening and points it out, and a person gets knocked down a bit in their ego, they become a little humility, you better have a process right away that can take over and make that change. And I'm sure that is one of the most powerful aspects of Dr. Tread's Slim Body Laser Spa, is my ability to see that, to recognize that, and also to know when somebody's not willing to change. We had a guy 3 weeks ago that looked at me and all he had was is try to figure out, ask me questions, how it's not going to work for him. Oh, it won't work for me because of this. And, does it come back? And I don't want to do this. If it's going to come back, I'm not going to spend my money if it comes back. And I'm not going to change. I like this, I like that. And I looked at him and I thought, man, well, why are you here? How's it working for you? Are you getting better? Are you getting worse? Or, so I hope that makes sense to you. It makes a lot to me. So anyway, if you're interested in finding out if I can help you, you give us a call. Slim Body Laser Spa, 772-223-5885. You can lose 3 to 9 inches using the newest lipo laser technology. There is no pain. There's no surgery. There's no dangerous injections and no crazy diets. You don't have to attend any meetings. You don't have to buy a bunch of supplements that you have to prepay for. There's no auto ship food to your house. You can be taught how to go to Bonefish Grill, Sonny's Ribs, and eat like a human should eat and not be fearful that everything you're eating is turning into fat. I can tell you, proteins and fats do not turn into fat. Carbohydrates, processed food, turn into fat. And that is the truth. All right. Change a little angle here. See, I brought some stuff for you. Okay. This is a real, I'm going to go over this briefly because it takes a lot of understanding to understand this. So how many of you out there believe, what if somebody were to tell you that a chemical added to your food could cause brain damage in your children? And this chemical could affect how your children's nervous systems form during development. So in later years, they may have learning or emotional difficulties. This is a food additive, a chemical being added to your food that create brain damage, neurological deformities. So later years, children have learning and emotional difficulties. What if there was scientific evidence that these chemicals could damage a critical part of your brain known to control hormones, so that you might have endocrine problems for the rest of your life? How would you feel if that was being put into your food that you ate every day and they knew it and they're aware of it, but they don't change it? This information is life-changing, and I'm going to just go into it very briefly here. I encourage you to dig down, find more information about this. I'll give you enough information here in the next 5 minutes or so that you can go on and learn more. I have these reports in my website. If you want to look at them, you can go to, you have to unlock it by calling us, giving us your information, and I'll send you a link that allows you to unlock these reports, because we don't allow this for most of our clients to see. It's kind of out of, it's about nutrition, not necessarily about laser. So these chemicals can actually cause brain tumors. And there's evidence that strongly suggests that the artificial sweetener in your diet soft drink may cause brain tumors. Are you drinking diet soda? Are you drinking zero sugar-free stuff because you're concerned about the calories? You need to pay attention to this. That artificial sweeteners in your diet and soft drinks there's research that shows that brain tumors can develop, and that the number of brain tumors reported since the widespread introduction of these artificial sweeteners has increased dramatically. Now, would that affect your decision to drink these products, and especially to allow your children to drink them? What if I could show you overwhelming evidence that one of the main ingredients in this sweetener, called aspartate, could cause the same brain lesions? Aspartate, aspartame, there's so many different names of these sweeteners. It just blows my mind, and how many people are drinking them and using them are not healthy and not good for you. So, artificial sweeteners, sugar-free, but at what cost? Now, a lot of this research comes from a substance called MSG. We've all heard about MSG, right? Chinese food, please hold the MSG. I don't want the MSG. I've said it. You probably have too. That's because MSG is a neurotoxin, and it is put into food to make it taste better. It stimulates your little taste buds, and it creates a desire to eat more of it. And MSG was developed for 1,000 years ago. Japanese cooks added special ingredients to magnify the desired taste of foods. It was made from something called seaweed. But the taste-enhancing ingredient is what we call monosodium glutamate, or MSG. It turned into a worldwide multi-million-dollar industry back in the early, when food was being produced. The company which produces most of the world's supply of MSG is a Japanese company, and they release it in something called hydrolyzed vegetable protein. So MSG is still in your food. It's still being added. It's in the things such as Pillsbury, Oscar Mayer, Libby's, Campbell's. They've been adding millions of pounds of MSG, but they've changed the name. Imagine that. They've changed the name. And some of the MSG substances, which is an amino acid, is monosodium glutamate, MSG, NutraSweet, aspartame, glutamate, hydrolyzed protein, natural flavors, malt flavorings, natural flavorings, hydrolyzed plant proteins, mixed barley malt, seasonings, soy protein, seasoned salt, soy protein concentrate, soy protein isolate, yeast extract, soy sauce, whey protein, bouillon cubes, broth, chicken, beef broth, vegetable gum, stock, beef stock, plant protein extract, soup base, smoke flavorings. You can't get away from this MSG. This stuff is bad stuff. But let's go over the artificial sweeteners here in the next few minutes. So the average 12-ounce can of sugar-sweetened soda delivers about 150 calories, all of them from sugar. The same amount of diet soda has 0 calories. The choice seems like a no-brainer. Now, the FDA has approved 5 artificial sweeteners: saccharin, acesulfame, aspartame, and neotame, and sucralose. They also have approved 1 natural low-calorie sweetener, stevia. Now, stevia is the only one I would even come close to suggesting, just to kind of summarize this. How your brain responds is very complex. So we're running a little bit short on time here, but there are other health concerns, and maybe sugar isn't too bad after all. Sugar-containing foods in their natural form, whole fruit, for example, tend to be highly nutritious, nutrient-dense, high in fiber, and low in glycemic load. On the other hand, concentrated sugar consumed in large amounts rapidly increases blood glucose, insulin levels, increased triglycerides, inflammatory mediators, and oxygen radicals. So, listen, if you're doing diet sodas and diet things, we have a sign at the spa that says diet aspartame, putting the dye in diet for over 20 years. you got to cut out those artificial sweeteners. They are not healthy for you. They create neurological problems over time. It's well documented, and they just keep putting it into it. They think it's just a small amount. And yes, a little bit will not harm you. But a lot of people, it's in so many things that we're getting larger doses because of the amount that's in the system, in these foods. You know, it's one diet soda here, then it's another thing that's a little less. It's sweeteners, it's flavorings, it's the soup broths, and it all accumulates and can create neurological problems. All right, that's to make you feel good about the day today. I'd rather see you take a little bit of pure cane sugar, sweeten with honey, sweeten with stevia. Deal with the calories. Don't take the chemicals. Okay, you're listening to the Slim Body Laser Spa. I can be heard right here every Tuesday from 9 to 10 o'clock on WSTU. Next week, I promise I will have my Facebook Live going. My internet connection here was weak, and I bailed on it before we lost everything. So I will love to see you. Come into the office. We're ready to take care of people. We got a lot of openings, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you so much for your wonderful attention. Bye-bye.